part of your sheet, and you have notes written here. You're just going to fill in the words that are going to be underlined in the PowerPoint. So first we're going to talk about, today we're going to talk about the lower federal courts. Last class we talked about the structure, how you have the Supreme Court, U.S. Court of Appeals, and district courts. And we're just going to talk about some of these lower courts that we have in our federal judiciary. So the courts began with the Judiciary Act of 1789, and this basically just established the lower courts. Established, because you see in Article 3 we already had the Supreme Court created through the Constitution, directly stated. This established those lower courts, pulling from the Constitution, which we just read. So following the Act, there are numerous lower trial courts and Court of Appeals that were created by Congress because they just had a growing number of cases. As Jeremy said, the Supreme Court couldn't handle all the cases, so they created all these lower courts that kind of filter through some of the cases. So these lower courts can be categorized into two basic types: constitutional courts and legislative courts. As you see, the constitutional courts include federal district courts, and we're going to touch on these a little more later in our lesson. The Federal Court of Appeals and the U.S. Court of International Trade. The other courts are called legislative courts, and they just help Congress exercise its powers. This group over here stated that Congress has a lot going on, a lot to do, so this is just going to aid them, help them to do their job. Some examples we have are tax courts, territorial courts, the U.S. Court of Appeals for Armed Forces. Again, we're going to talk about these in a second. Okay, so that's just a brief overview of the lower federal courts, how they're established, the two different types. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through